Sir, how you doing?
I just wanted to tell you guys, from an actor standpoint, that was truth I saw, and that was the best thing. That was truth.
Oh, thank you.
It was.
It means a lot coming from you.
Can you just talk a little bit about your processes in terms of approaching these characters and what was going through your mind, particularly for you, because you had just this clear journey throughout. So what was this process like?
First I had to learn my lines. I don't know, I mean, Lincoln to me sort of represents somebody who, wasn't given the direction and probably could have done a lot more if he had the direction. And I think a lot of people can relate to that, both big and small. So when I looked at Lincoln, I didn't look at him pretty much no different than myself, but just in a different angle, if it makes any sense. You feel like you can be much more than what you really are, but you're not. And how frustrating is that for an individual, particularly at his age, which is he's in his mid-30s, to be going through that, which a lot of us go through that once we get to that age. Who am I? Where do I fit in? And Lincoln is having a problem as far as where does he fit in. And so I think that I sort of looked at that as sort of a catalyst to try to understand Lincoln a little bit better. I think that was probably the most helpful.
It also appeared that Lincoln was not only trying to fit in, but he also had the responsibility to take care of his little brother.
Right.
After the parents left. So therefore, he actually gave the little brother the control of the relationship. Because it seemed like you had the control of this relationship the whole time.
Because I'm living under his roof.
Right.
But I think that the reason why, the question was posed to me by Mia, why is he living with them?
Right.
Obviously it was a financial, aspect to it, but I also think it had a lot to do with the fact that he had lost what he thought was his connection in life.
I think my process was done from just basically where I grew up. A lot of the aspects of Booth I've seen in certain people, just growing up in the area I grew up. I'm from Waldorf, Maryland, which is right outside of PG County, like 20 minutes outside of DC. So I either walk past people like that every day, or I interact with people like that every day. So for me, it was more of when I was a kid, I would always look at people and try to make up their lives and what I thought was going on. So it was like I got to do that with this character. So it was aspects of my brother that I put into this character, aspects of friends that I grew up with, and it's just everybody pieced together. But at the same time, you kind of get to play the bad guy.
I thought it was interesting particularly when you said that you grew up in Cabrini Green, because I grew up in the South Bronx in a similar place, and I'm real familiar with your place. And a lot of people wonder why or how we can live in a place where it's as crazy and as wild as it is. And while this is a play about two brothers, I think what we're missing is this is a byproduct of dysfunctional families.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so when we see Cabrini Green, and we see folks, and we see vice lords, and we see Blackstone, and we see we see the skulls, that's a byproduct of dysfunctional families. And what we need to look at when we see works like this is what kind of coping mechanisms.
I think it's up to all of us, and I'm not saying that we all have to go out there and mentor 15, 20 kids, but even if you just get one.
Yeah, well, it takes a village. I know it's very cliche. It takes a village to raise a child, man. And we have gotten so far away from. I grew up saying, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, thank you, please. And we have gotten so far away from that as a race and as a society. And it's just, it's crazy.
It's a family unit. There's a mother, the father, the brother, the sister. But what ends up happening in a dysfunctional family is that everyone becomes what life is, how a man should be, and how life was to you, even though y'all were there together, there was still a part of you that was like, well, I'm gonna survive. If you try to take me down, I'm gonna hold mine. You know what I mean? And I think that's just something for us to think about too, when it comes to mentoring and all that kind of stuff, is how dysfunctional families lead us to just keep everything to ourselves, and we're always on the defensive within the family. So I just wanted to bring that up. It was very interesting.
I appreciate actually all of you bringing that up, because I know Amina spoke. I'm not quite sure what all she said in the beginning, but Karibu is focused mostly on the lives of women and children. And so everyone asked us, well, why are you doing a play about two men? And I said, because they're children still. They are who they are from what they were brought up from in the life that they had. So having you all speak of that is really important, and I appreciate it very much.
I think it was a brother in front who said something about it takes a village to raise a child. You know, he said it was cliche, and I think we shouldn't run away from that, because here's the other reality. It took a village to destroy it. And we forget that. And when I worked with young brothers, after myself having done time when I was a teenager, what I began to understand is they just want to belong to something. And the reality is, the bad people was clicking up. It was the good folks that wasn't talking to you. Living in the same building, don't know your neighbor's name. And so a village destroyed it. And when I looked at two opposite things. I watched rap music companies, which I watched grow when I was in New York, and I watched drug gangs. And what I realized was they wanted to belong to something. Because I watched kids, remember little 2 poles they used to put banners and new albums coming out of the pole and telephone poles? They take 25 kids and give them $100 in pizza, and those kids will spend 8 to 9 hours throwing stuff on poles for albums that were coming out for cats for make millions of dollars. And I watched the dope kids sit in the corner, play lookout, same thing, opposite corner, because they want to be part of the bad boy clique. I'm down with cash money. They wanted to be a part of something that had value and that was respected, okay, in our community, even amongst us. And so it does take a village to save us, because it took one to destroy it.
But I just want to know why you was picking on Cash Money, because they're from New Orleans, I'm from New Orleans, but you could have brought up somebody from the Bronx. I'm just saying.
Why somebody come from New York?
Anyone else? Well, we thank you all so very, very much for being here.
I have a question for you. What was your vision?
My vision? Honestly, these guys will tell you, I don't start out with a complete vision when I direct. I start out with learning the play and making sure I read that play over and over and over again. And I analyze every word they say and the reasons that they have it. And then I let my actors come in and I let them read it and I let them have their natural impulses. Then I said, okay, let's go from here. And then I'll say, look what we discovered in these 5 minutes. Why do you think you did that? Why he has this gun in the back of his pocket. He's like, it's hard because when he goes to pull it, it's unnatural. I said, but let me tell you, when you first took that gun from him, the first thing you did was take it from him and put it in the back of your pocket. Just because it doesn't work for you in the action doesn't mean it didn't work for you in your mind. So that's what we're going to do. So my vision was to make sure that I took Susan Laurie Parks' play and made it universal for everyone, so that everyone stepping into it to do these words felt what it is she was having, felt the life that there was, while incorporating their own impulses and their